it's Mrs. Morgan, and we are going to be doing watercolor techniques for landscaping design. And so we're going to just paint maybe evergreens. And right here I have a little picture of a landscape there, and the inspiration for me was European gardens. I have some visuals here, and over here I got some stones and a stairwell and a pot. So we're going to be doing this, so I'm going to keep this up here. I got some basic white paper. It has to be a little bit hard stock if you ever want to buy it. And these are just scrap rags that I have. They're clean, they just look dirty. But it has cotton. You dab it, you never rub. So if you mess up, you kind of have to work with it and you dab it right away. I got some different size brushes, different points. Okay, and I just want to have one piece of paper. Okay, so watercolor. Use water to basically activate your watercolors. And so I'm going to just put my waters in there, and I'm going to start putting water on my palette. I'm using Crayola watercolors, which are very, very nice for the money. The color is nice and vibrant. So I'm just putting different water in here, so it's all ready to go. You don't have to do this, but okay. So I'm going to do an evergreen tree first. I'm going to be using the teal color, and then I'm just going to put lines down the middle where I'm going to put my evergreen. And as you go back, that's going to a guideline for me. So I just put lines on here. And then my round brush, I can basically use my brush, and I'm just kind of moving it around. Move it over a little bit for you so you can see it in both cameras. There it goes. Okay. And I'm just going to be painting. So the whole key on watercolors is doing transparency layers, and I'm covering up that line. That line's just kind of there for me to show me where the tree is, an axis line I call it. And I'm going to be doing the evergreen trees. So even with your colored pencils, if you don't have watercolors and you're using colored pencils, you want to do like layers. Like the first one would be like real light in area. I didn't go all the way down with it. Okay. Again, if you mess up, you get your little white old undershirt or whatever and dab it. Polyester will not work. So it has to be, and paper towels work nice, but toilet paper will not work. Tissue will not work. Tissue will fall apart. Okay, so I'm just dabbing it now. Okay, so I'm going to do the next one. So the evergreen. Okay, and I'm going to go back. So for your garden landscape, I know that the nice thing about evergreens is they stay green all year round. So that's kind of nice to think about your landscape. What will happen in the wintertime? In the wintertime, it will stay green all year round. If you like birds live in the evergreens. They live in bushes. They feel safe in there. So that's kind of nice if you like nature. And that's important to you for your landscape. But it stays green all year round, which is a nice thing. Easy to care for. And as you go back, it's going to have the illusion of going back in space. All right, so I just did one green. You really can layer more than one green or different shades of green, so it's one layer. Okay, so you have that. Dab it. And you dab, you even get a different look with it. Okay, so we have that. Now let's try to do, now if you feel more comfortable, if you do something in pencil first, then you want to maybe do it real light. You don't want to make it real dark, because the watercolor is really what you're going to be doing. So even like the house here, so if I have my axis line, I'm just I'm going to bleed that out so it blends in more. You can see right here what happens. If it's not the end of the world, but instead of using a ruler, but I would probably use a ruler if I were you first, and then go back with your watercolor. So remember, this is an architect class or interior. You're basically thinking how the landscape works with the house in relationship to the house. And then you have to also know which climate you're in. But evergreens pretty much, there's the ones in Italy, the trees that they like the warm weather that are an evergreen, like an evergreen family, but they wouldn't be good for here. That's one tree. And here goes the mountains. Vertical lines are always vertical. Again, I wouldn't, if I were, I would just, for you, I would definitely do the pencil first. Okay, and then I'm going to do a little balcony type of thing. So I'm doing one color, and I'm doing just transparencies of one color. And then I'm going to build up. Okay. And so that's supposed to look like it's behind it. The house, like in the distance. Use a square brush. I always forget to change brushes. So each brush is kind of nice for different reasons. I'm trying to make it like where it's, you see part of the roof. Okay. Now, as far as the trees, I want like an olive tree type of thing. You don't want to just do a line and with a ball on top. You really want to think about branches. I'm going to use the same color and just kind of, and then we're going to build up. I'm going to show you. So closer to the house here, so I got an olive tree. Again, I would recommend actually looking online at the different trees and looking at it as you're painting it. Olive trees, fig trees like the warm weather, but it is possible to grow them here, that's a very European thing, especially in Italy. The fig tree in Italian culture means good luck. You know, so that's why a lot of times you'll see them in people's homes or backyards. Even in a small backyard like South Philly, you'll see fig trees. So we get our tree assignment on Schoology. It's kind of just going to be like practice it, like you're just having fun. So even that you just get one piece of paper and you're just going to practice drawing different types of trees. Okay, so right now, so my inspiration is European. So your inspiration, go online and find different inspirations as far as you're going to look for evergreens and some different types of trees. And you could find something a little bit different. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. But see, I do my branches, and then I usually put my, leaves on top of that. So the reason why I'm painting in one color, again, is just to show you that you can do different values, and even though it's just a whole different look. It's like just painting, it's almost like just painting with a black marker, but you're doing different values with the black marker. So if everything in the foreground is larger and things in the background gets smaller. This line and this line follow each other. See what I'm doing with my paintbrush? This line and this line will follow each other. Same thing with the windows. That's going to follow that line. See how I'm doing that? It follows right along the edge. If you mess up, you have to go with the mistakes again, because watercolors is not so forgiving. You really can't go over top of it. I could go back with my Indian ink or a thin black marker and bring things out if I wanted to. Again, that would be the same as the top there. That looks dark. Okay, and so right here, just let it go. There's a little line here that's probably whatever. Just kind of don't worry about it. And then I got some bushes in the front here. I don't really know what kind they are. Maybe a more round brush here. So I'm just going to kind of Do that. We can actually just, watercolor is such a, we could just do watercolor techniques for a whole semester. There's so much, learn with just working with watercolors, and the more you use a medium, the better you get at it. Here you have like the, I actually really, there's like a lot of fancy watercolors if you go in an art supply store. I really like acrylic watercolor. I think that's nice color for, and it's convenient. So I think this is way more convenient than the tubes, where I would definitely, get it and kind of use it more. Okay, so we've got the evergreens up top. So I'm going to do a shadow now, that maybe the evergreens are, you see a shadow coming from it. You mess up, you mess up. So sometimes people don't even notice it. Maybe this is the backdrop for your landscaping project and you collage on top of it, your idea. Okay, now I'm going to add another color. Everything is like that teal color blue, and I'm going to build up. I usually do black last, because you can really fix a lot of things with the black. I'll even show you with the Indian ink too for one day. So maybe green. You don't have to do green, but maybe here's the olive tree, and they have a little leaf, the olive tree. Now, if I would actually love to have I should have a picture of an olive tree if I was going to paint an olive tree, but I'm recording on both different things. I don't have access to it. I know it's a little leaf. So since I'm painting out of my head right now a little bit, it's called stylistic painting. It's kind of like stylizing a tree, even though I'm showing different techniques. You could use this technique too for, so I'm doing a stylistic tree. And I just did it. See, I'm using my paintbrush as a tool. But it can be really, really relaxing. I said, when you show me your picture, when you submit your watercolor study of trees, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just looking for that you're kind of just practicing with it and you get a skill down. So I'm going to say variations. I got bushes, I said I got evergreens, and I got an olive tree there. I don't even know what kind of bushes I just kind of did. I just kind of did regular. Again, I could put dots. You can get watercolors. They have them at Walmart, Target. You don't have to go to art supply store. Dollar store has it. Be careful with the dollar store. Some of the ones they're very transparent. So sometimes it's worth a little bit more money. I said I bought them before, but they were so transparent. Even with the crayons, the wax. I can't remember the name of the brand even when I got. But if you see Crayola there, grab the Crayola ones. But they're fine. They just don't have as much pigment in it, which would be like a lighter color. Okay, so there I just put dots leading up to if I wanted to. I can kind of just dab it if I want to. Okay, and here's a little bit of purple. Like that bled there, but I kind of like that. Now here is inside the house. I'm going to put a line. If you're left-handed, you're going to run into some trouble a little bit, like going on top of your left-handed. A lot of times people are like here, they're on top of their painting. So you might want to get a scrap piece of paper and put it down if you're left-handed. And sometimes that's even good when you're right-handed to do that. Maybe I could put this change it up. I'm trying to make like wrought iron here. Or indicated it. And it's just kind of back through lines. That turned out way better. See, the second time I did it, it was way better. I didn't overthink it. That's supposed to be the shadow. Line there for the shadow. Same thing with this one. Alright, the hair just came out of my brush, but there's no doorway here, but I'm imagining the doorway's over here somewhere. So there, because if I wanted to put another line, that could be another field in the background. The shadow would be right here. This is purple. Now purple and yellow, if you want to put the knot on top of each other, will make a brown shade. Green and red again. Again, if you want brown, but green and red make another shade of brown. And blue and orange make brown. So just be aware of that if you're mixing colors, because you're mixing colors transparency. So like the purple is, the green is underneath the purple. And don't forget purple has red in it. Okay, so, and then the teal has green in it. So you have to think about that also. Which is fine, it just would be like more muted, which also could be a nice thing too. Okay, that's more of a blue shade. One of the things I do wrong a lot is I overwork things. It's kind of like knowing when to stop, which could be important. Okay, now the black. Again, you can use your black, you have a real thin black marker. Just gonna do it here and there. Using the tip of my brush. See, I put my rag down, but kind of leave my hand on. I think this was actually an old t-shirt. So kitchen the paper towel works nice too. Okay, I'm just bringing it out. Again, this paper or even 14 by 11, and then you could actually label things. So if say my little backyard that I have, say my inspiration is Italy, even though I have a little backyard. So that's where I would think maybe more things that, that you would see, even though I'm not in the same climate. What has the illusion of different, that feeling, or a pot. Maybe let's do a pot here. So maybe I would do one of those pots with the handle. Again, and then that would have the feeling of a European garden. Another thing to do, say you love your watercolor, I mean, you're really happy with it, you do one thing, you could actually collage something on top of that. So I messed up here. I can collage on top of it, doesn't matter. got little specks here. Let me get my other rag to lean on. Again, see the little, I don't know if you can't see it in the camera, but here's a little bit of specks. Don't put too much attention to it because it makes it worse. You kind of have to like go with it. Okay, so then I got a little pot there. And they have these, so if you want to do that when you do your budget, you could definitely find those kind of pots if you're into that look. If you want, like, they have different colors, if you want to bring out a color on a pot. Okay, and I'm going to do an evergreen, or maybe I'll do sage in here. Sage is an herb. Now if it's wet, it's going to bleed a little bit. See that spot? So I really should probably wait till it's dry. Alright, it's looking like an evergreen, but oh well. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the video now, get back to you, but just play around, relax. If you like more videos like this, where we're just kind of relaxing and painting together, let me know, and I'll try to do more like this. And that's it, and then I'll have the video on Schoology so you can refer back to it and play it as much as you want. Okay, let me turn off this camera, here we go.